thanks especially to Ambassador Alonso. Thank you very much for being with us. But let me explain to you a little bit the idea of this meeting. For many years in the past, some years at least, I received groups of young American leaders just when they arrived to Spain and had the chance to talk with them and learn about the stereotype and the image they had when they arrived here. I had also again the opportunity of talking with them just before they returned back to the US. So just to contrast the before and after experience and how their trip and their visit to Spain had changed the image of Spain. In a sense, this is the idea of this meeting, is kind of before and after experience. How your views of Spain, of US-Spain relations have changed before and after. So, having 2 points of reference, we can have a movie, not just a picture. Yes,
con su permiso.
of course.
Quiero leer una declaración pequeña en español y entonces quiero agradecer al Real Instituto Elcano y a la Casa de América por organizar este acto. Durante mi estancia como embajador de los Estados Unidos aquí en Madrid, ninguna otra institución ha sido más atenta y acogedora que estas. Me alegro de haber celebrado un acto con el nuevo director de la Tribuna de América, don Rodrigo Campos al frente. Este acto está anunciado como una conversación sobre relaciones entre Estados Unidos y España. No se me ocurre poder tener un socio de conversación más interesante que el presidente del Real Instituto Elcano, el distinguido don Emilio Lamo de Espinosa y mi amigo. En la mayoría de las circunstancias me sentaría simplemente entre el público, disfrutando de sus observaciones. Ya que volvemos pronto a los Estados Unidos, quiero empezar a practicar de nuevo mi inglés. Por lo tanto, con su permiso, cambiaré de idioma. Y si desean escuchar la interpretación, hay auriculares para ella. Gracias. And let me also thank so many friends here for suffering through my lessons in Spanish over the years. My Spanish is better today than when I arrived, but it's still un poco oxidado. And when I come back here, I'll have had a chance to study it on before. Gracias.
Thanks, thank you very much, Ambassador. In a sense, this is kind of a farewell statement also. A new ambassador is already on the way. He's already more or less packing. He'll be here in weeks, probably. You'll be back. These are the rules of the game. You were just commenting on that. Ambassador coming up. That's the rule. But that's another opportunity. An opportunity, as we know, U.S. presidents used to give farewell statements. So some of them, especially important, I remember Eisenhower's farewell statement when he denounced the military-industrial complex, one of the most known farewell statements. So we can today start a new tradition. That new tradition of a farewell statement by the U.S. ambassador. Okay? So I want to start with a couple of questions before and after. You came here in, I think it was January 2010, is that correct? It's interesting, you have been here 3.5 years, and you have traveled all over Spain. You traveled before, because you came before during Francois, I guess, it was 71, something like that. So you know Spain very well, you have talked with a lot of people from many different venues, classes, and perspectives. You have, I guess, a good view of Spain. So I will start with a couple of rather general questions. The first one is, before and after Marca España, what was the stereotype with which you arrived here of Spain and the one you have now? What's your view of Spain? And second, about U.S.-Spain relations. What was the state of U.S.-Spain relations when you arrived 3.5 years ago? And what's your heritage to Mr. Costos and the American ambassador?
It's confirmed by the United States Senate.
Yeah, of course. He has already the Blessed Days. He had already obtained the Blessed from the Senate government.
As far as I know, he still has the power to be confirmed by the Senate. And And as I learned, that was sometimes a road with some bumps. Well, I celebrated New Year's Eve in Puerto del Sol in 1971. Spain was a very different country, and I was a very different person. I'm not sure who's changed more. We were both very poor. And as I prepared to come to Madrid 3.5 years ago, and read a good deal of Spanish history, especially more recent Spanish history of the 20th century, and realized how profound was the adversity that Spanish people had lived through, civil war and dictatorship. I was surprised and impressed when I first arrived at how Spain had turned itself around from a very poor country, more or less outside of Europe, neglected by the United States, into a really remarkable success, both in terms of transition to democracy and creating a prosperous economy. When I presented my credentials to His Majesty, and I had a chance to visit with Their Majesties and Their Royal Highnesses yesterday, I complimented him, I congratulated him on the contribution, because I had read some of the experts, and I recognized the contribution that he made. I realized what a difficult time Spain is going through. I've lived through ups and downs in the United States, but this is undoubtedly the most difficult period Spain has faced since the transition. But I guess I'm impressed with what we've seen in the past, the resilience of the Spanish people, their ability to meet challenges that are very difficult. The other impression I came here with, which I found to be more common than I expected in Washington, was a view that Spain wasn't really that reliable a partner in the United States. There was still a residue of disappointment or upset or over history, and I picked this up in my consultations with people in Washington. But you want to know how my views have changed, and what I have seen here through the two governments to whom I have represented, my government and my president, that Spain is a strong and reliable partner of the United States. On all of the major issues of the day, our interests are aligned and our values coincide. And so, with respect to Afghanistan, Iran, missile defense, transnational terrorism, international crime, global warming, on all of these issues, our interests are aligned, and Spain has actually participated as a strong partner with the United States. So, part of my efforts over these last 3.5 years have been to bring our message here to the Spanish people, but also to reflect back to the people in the United States, and both in Washington and around the country, what a reliable partner this country is, and what a fantastic country this is. So I think the other thing I will say in answer to your question about the Lamo de Espinosa, I didn't know much about Spain when I came here. I studied, but the experiences that I had and that my community of friends and colleagues and contacts had didn't have as much contact with Spain as with many other European countries. And I think that is actually something that I hope is changing. Spain is the third most common destination for American students studying abroad. 25,000 American students come here to study every year. I can't tell you how many people I've met in government or in business who spent some time here as students studying in Salamanca or Sevilla or Barcelona or Madrid. For instance, the President's Chief of Staff today spent time here as a student, both bicycling around, he told me, with his wife, and also studying in Sevilla. So I'm hoping that Spain's image in the United States